When I was 11 years old, I was really excited about my first Boy Scout camping trip. I was also very inexperienced. But the Boy Scouts produce an excellent manual that has everything a young boy needs to get started. And so, with that manual in hand, my parents and I began filling up my brand new backpack. Unfortunately, the manual wasn't really clear that you didn't necessarily need all of those things for every hike. And so by the time we got finished, that backpack weighed about as much as I did. But I wanted to be brave, so I shouldered that pack and set off on what was to be a 20-mile hike. Our scoutmaster, Mr. Meyerheim, didn't really say anything, but I know he was wondering just how far I was going to go. Later that first day, the answer to that question became pretty obvious as I was getting slower and slower. And during a break, Mr. Meyerheim pulled one of the senior boys aside and asked him how far he thought I was going to be able to go. I remember there was a lot of discussion and some rather derogatory comments about me and my hiking skills. But the gist of it was that they didn't think I was going to get much farther. Well, Mr. Meyerheim then asked what we should do about it. And after a little discussion and some more derogatory comments, it was decided that we should take some of the items in my pack and spread them among some of the older boys. It would make my load lighter without really making theirs much heavier. I learned a lot about hiking that weekend. I survived with only a bruised ego and some very sore shoulders. But the experience has stayed with me. You see, Mr. Meyerheim could have directed some action. He certainly had the authority to do that. But instead, he helped a younger leader learn a little bit about problem solving and decision making. That's what good leaders do, is to help others become good leaders.